Mullet. It's a mullet, it's audio, and it is mullets and audio, but it's also Mike Nelson, and it's Doug, and it's also Ethan. Hey, everyone, Mike Nelson here.
No way, that was you? I thought Ethan played the song twice.
How did you get here, Mike?
No.
I think
that
Mike
was me, yes.
He was covering up for the fact that he forgot the lyrics to his own theme song.
No, it is Audio Mullet, and this is Mike Nelson. I'm on a show that I'm kind of on. It's fun to be kind of on a show.
It's weird. This week is like Mike is back. Like you were on last week. I've been sick. I don't know, you can probably hear it in my voice. I'm gonna be trying to hit the cough button a lot.
Mike is covered in pimples. Hey, Mike. Wouldn't you say that it's a relief? Isn't it a relief to be half on a show? Because now you can blow it off when you want. There's no pressure.
Well, it's not blowing it off. I mean, as you guys know, I love this. This is you are my dear friends, some of my best friends in the world. And Ethan, I'm sorry to hear about the loss of your life, which is coming in about 5 to 10 minutes.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate. But no, it's, I guess it releases the pressure of, having to be there all the time and doing this.
I like low pressure commitments. It's like, hey, if it's convenient, you come in. And if you're quote unquote working hard, you don't have to.
I stopped working. I stopped on the dime when I got the call from the bat signal went up, and I said, I'm going to stop working because today was a work day. And I think my wife is now in the other room wondering why the door is shut, and I can't help her move a rug into the room and move some furniture around. But hey, this is what I do for you guys.
You don't just hire Bridget servants to do that kind of thing, Mike? I thought you were big time.
Oh my God, please.
Yeah, I know. Just have one of your many butlers do it. Just have Bridget get in here and I'll talk her down. I'll talk her down from that carpet thing. I'll explain everything.
Let me ask you this. I thought years ago there was an article in some stupid men's magazine when I was young and would see them in waiting rooms and would pick them up and read them. And it said, how to hire a butler or something. And my takeaway from the article was, I'll be the butler. I thought I could, I wanted to be hired as the butler. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you'll be the butler, but you want to be hired.
I want the butler. Yeah. Yeah. It's like, that guy makes back then it was, maybe 45, 50K a year. I'm like, that sounds fantastic. And all I have to do is, yes. And I hang out in some rich guy's house and then I get him his ties and stuff. That sounds great.
Yeah. I had a buddy who was a journalist who interviewed, who's the guy that wrote, Strangers. He's the horror guy, not the next guy below Dean Koontz.
Oh, yeah. Right.
Koontz.
Yes.
She interviewed him in his Orange County mansion that he lives in by himself. And it was just I think it was before he was married.
No, because he was poor when he was married, and then his wife helped him. That's his story. He was she goes, I'll give you 5 years to get the hang of this writing thing, and I'll support us.
Oh, that was him? I thought that was Stephen King.
Maybe it was Stephen King. Did I get it mixed up?
Yeah, you got them mixed up. It's easy to make them interchangeable.
Stephen King's wife was rich?
No, she gave him a chance to get his story made when he was poor. That was Stephen King. Dean Koontz, she went to his palatial Orange County mansion on one of those giant bluffs, and she was met at the door by a butler in a tuxedo.
Wow.
And he walked her in. Your appointment is ready. The full
that could have been me
1930s, movie with and he was showing her around all these ancient works of art that he had that were super expensive, and he got her drink and brought out some cookies and snacks, and then Dean Koontz comes out and he's wearing a full blown not a formal outfit, but just dressed for business. And I guess that was a window into his life. So, but I just thought, man, the butler's got the enviable job. He gets to live in the same house 8 hours a day as the guy that earned it.
Yeah. Have you ever house sat? Well, I guess you guys, Doug has always had nice houses, but
I've
not your whole
house
life,
sat.
but yeah. But you were like, when you were like poor, did you like ever house sit for somebody with a super nice house?
Yeah, I've been poor. Yeah, I've house sat.
It's so weird.
Yeah,
Weird sleeping in people's beds.
It's weird having people sleep in your beds now that people house sit for me.
I felt so weird when I slept. You're like, yeah, you can sleep in me and Angie's beds right there. And I remember when I was
right there,
laying there looking at the ceiling, like, this is weird to me.
Yeah, you're not going to defile that thing. Well, you had the guest bedroom down in the basement. I'm just saying, if you're more comfortable, you want some light, you can get out of the cave. So, for those of you guys who don't know, Ethan Nicole here, writer for the Babylon Bee, creator of Axe Cop, and we have Mike Nelson way over there in Minnesota, cold, working for Riff Tracks. Mike, how's Ethan holding up, having one lung tied behind his back?
It is.
That sounds
it's painful to listen to, but he assures us he is not going to die during the podcast. He promises that he will die. Because, you can will when you die. I used to have dogs that they would obviously be sick, but they would leave the property and go die on their own somewhere else. And Ethan is going to do that for us. He'll be fine for now.
He sounds like a rusty, old, broken muffler dragging behind a Pinto, in the late 70s Pinto.
He does. And there's gas like leaking out of the tank, and there is going to be an explosion at some point.
Someone rear ends you, you're in trouble.
Yeah, there's nothing we can do.
The worst thing is I got tickets to see Norm Macdonald tonight, and I got to go. I've had him forever.
Yeah. Yeah,
so I'm just going to go there and spread the coronavirus.
Mike, wouldn't it be funny if Ethan gave Norm the coronavirus?
Well, you're going to hear at some point like, there's some guy in the front row there is apparently going to die during my show. I don't know what's going on with this guy here.
You're pretty huge in Norwegian for being a Chinese man.
I'm Norwegian now. I guess I could pass for Norwegian.
Yeah.
All right.
So what are we talking about, actually?
Ethan, you assured us you have a cough button.
I do.
Let's start utilizing that button.
I'm trying to do little tiny coughs.
His cough button is a neck muscle right now. He's just turning and coughing. Look at him go, man. He's bent over.
When we said turn your head and cough, we meant press the button first and then do it.
Yeah, you don't have to turn your head if you press the button. You can cough. You can just splatter that thing.
All right. So what are we talking about, as Ethan asked?
Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Sometimes I hit the button, it doesn't come back on. It's annoying.
Yeah. And on the Yeti, by the way, the pickup is here on the side. It's not on the front. So don't talk into the front of it. Talk into get into the side of it. Yep. That's, meaty. Yeah, meaty. Okay, I have the first subject here. We can just do a panoply of subjects today. Some of these are boring. You can say pass, Mike. We can move on. But here's mine.
Great. Okay.
What percentage of the time do you think like a Christian versus normal people, or act like a Christian versus normal people? So this is a layered question.
What percentage? That's the thing that's throwing me off. I would say most of the time. How do you know?
Yeah, that's where I get.
Like, do you start your car like a Christian?
Yeah, no. I mean, if I'm up in the middle of the night and I can't sleep, and I'm saying, "Man, I did terribly today," in terms of how I acted. If Christ is the Lord of my life, is He looking at today and going, "What a triumph, my son."
Yeah.
Those are the times when I really go, man, I fail so much. I'm terrible. Whereas, so I would say, as opposed to being when I was an atheist or whatever, I would mostly just be embarrassed about my interactions with people and just, do people hate me? Am I awful? And it's weird to just transfer that to, in a way, it's like then you're, now I'm thinking, did I behave in a way that would, please the Savior?
But I'm saying those moments are pretty few and far between, don't you think, where you're self-aware? Like, we always think, I'm walking around, I'm a Christian, I'm in a Christian body, I'm a Christian. But when you don't make a grilled cheese sandwich, but when I make a grilled cheese sandwich full of carby bread, is there any difference between the way I make it and someone else? Maybe I'll throw up a prayer, but is not like 99% of a Christian's life interchangeable with a non-Christian?
Yeah, because we live in the same, we're trapped in this little globe, this little world. Yes. I think that's true, but something in your heart and your changes.
Ethan got a percentage on the heart change. What percentage of you being a family man, living in a house, doing whatever, what percentage is Christian? I'm just wondering.
It's really hard to put a number on, and I don't even know if you can, because I think that's part of it as a Christian. You always think of yourself as being as far from it as you could possibly be. You try, but I know that, like, one interesting experience I had this last week was my sister reached out to me, one of my sisters, and she was kind of in this desperate spot, and she just goes like, "What's with you and the other two brothers, Noah and Isaiah, the brothers that I grew up with? Like, how come you guys seem to have like mental health figured out? And how come you guys?" Because
I'd say one of your brothers does.
Yeah, I'm like, well, Noah, yeah, Noah's got some issues, but he's doing a lot better these days. But he's gone through some stuff. But there's just a lot of stuff going on at my dad's house and with those siblings and stuff. And for the most part, they've all rejected their faith. And it was like, I hate to give you like the most generic answer that you're probably not going to want at all, but like I completely credit anything to my faith in Christ and the fact that I came to Christ in high school. And I know that Isaiah and Noah both came to Christ through me coming to Christ. We all started going to church, getting my mom to go to church, so like there's no reason that we had the trajectory that we had. Like, we could have gotten into all kinds of drugs. Our parents were not that great. They were good, but like not that great. There's really no explanation. My parents had way worse lives, especially my dad, than we've had.
Yeah. That's what I'm wondering though, is how does a belief change a man? So for all the atheists out there that are like going, I'm not going to accept Christ. I don't want to be that guy. I'm like, well, really, as far as observing rituals and praying and whatever else, it's 1%. Most of it, you go to the bathroom the same way, take a shower, you go to your job the same way, hopefully, but the belief can change the entire trajectory of your life, including, one day, obviously at the end of life. I think it makes a huge difference, especially eternally.
Well, I think this gets into that the famous Christopher Hitchens question, which I always thought was one of his weakest things, is what ethical act can a Christian do that a non-Christian can't? What moral act? Yeah. And so he's using the language of the Christian and imputing it to the non-Christian. It's like, well, no, you can all do that. A raging, total a-hole atheist can, pull over to the side of the road and help someone who's stranded. Sure. Big deal. That's okay. So now you have 100% Venn diagram crossover. So what is the difference? And, but that's kind of a stupid example. To take an extreme example, how about, so my wife does, prison ministry. That would be the more extreme example. Yeah, what kind of turnaround? Both of our wives
do so much more. All of our wives do so much more than we do for Christian world.
Hey, this is our ministry, boys, right here.
Hey, but we got a letter this week by a guy who rethought his faith because of because of Audio Mullet.
That was good. We should read that.
We got one. We got a scalp.
All right. So there, put that in our column, right? So that's another percentage or maybe a half percentage. I don't know.
It's eternal.
But no, the point is that there are extreme examples of it where the trajectory of your life has changed more. And so it would be more obvious. But the fact is that we live in a Western country where, okay, you would see that extreme more in a country that if we were in ancient Assyria and we were a blood cult killing our children until we became Christians, then the trajectory would be much more dramatic. Yeah. But the fact is we're still, cut flower ethics. We're still living in the Western world influenced by a biblical worldview, but still not completely, just on the fumes of it. And so our lives are different only in the fact that they're going to get different later, but right now,
Sure.
the trajectory is still somewhat similar.
I think the thing that makes me think about this all the time is when I go like, what difference is Christ making in my life today? And I look around and go, well, I do this, I do that the same. But in a way that becomes a testimony to what God does, because he doesn't look down on you and say, wow, 1%, 5%, 25%, 50%. He's not looking at percentages. The point is, like Ethan said, the belief you're 100% saved, and that the amount of Christianity that you perform each day, it goes up and down from day to day. But the whole point of it is it's about his work, what he did, not ours. Because we fail. We're always going to be down in the low percentages. That's why you need to be saved. Even when you're saved, you're still operating at pretty low percentages.
Right. Yes. No, I agree. Yeah. And there's nothing that we can do. Like, how can we serve the God of the universe? What can we do for him? Or that he would go, wow, man, you impressed the heck out of me. I could never do that.
Yeah.
Like, there is no such thing. So
let me get a carved statue up of these guys. Okay. Next topic. How do you make this? I wanted a clickbait title in case you wanted some more listens to this podcast. Here's how to make money by screwing around. How do you guys, because all three of us have screw around jobs that we work very hard at, and kind of half the trick is to try and find a way to make money at it. So what's your overall business theory on why you're profitable? If you're profitable.
Wow. Ooh, you're getting right to the heart of it.
Well, creatives and writers and a lot of musicians, they all have to sit there and think like, okay, I love my craft. Why in the world would someone pay me?
Yeah. Well, I'll start with a thing that I just heard the other day. I was watching I just thought this was funny. I was watching a tennis match, and the two commentators, one said the thing about, the duck, like, he looks calm above the surface, but below the surface, his feet are moving like crazy. And the other, this woman who was co-commentating goes, what is that? And he goes, oh, it's a pretty common saying. And she goes, okay.
Okay, man from Mars. You've never heard of it?
I thought that was so weird. Like, why wouldn't you take him at his face? Why wouldn't you yes and your fellow? But anyway, that's how I feel. Like, it's just I'm always working. I've always felt I've always had that Walter Payton said, the famous running back. I'm dating myself now. He's been long dead. Who said, there are better people than me, but nobody outworks me. And mine has always been, you just work and try to get better. And that's my work ethic. There's tons of people who are funnier or better at this or that. And so you do the best you can by working really hard. Otherwise, you don't have any control over it, right? Yep. I can't get more talented. I can't get more anything, but I can work a little bit harder. So that's my philosophy.
Ethan?
Yeah, I was just, we just did an episode of the Babylon Bee podcast with all the writers on there who are our top writers. And we constantly get people who want to be a part of the Babylon Bee. They all think they got great headline ideas. And I noticed that each writer that we have that's one of our top writers didn't actually reach out to become writers. Each of them had their own like blogs or websites or YouTube channels. They had all these other outlets. They were already telling jokes. They were all hard workers doing this kind of stuff already. And I just made me realize that the successful people aren't the ones who like keep applying to, and then they don't do it if they don't get published, or they don't do it if they don't get picked up. They just do it. And then, whether or not. And so I think that's probably like it. I'm not saying, you do have to believe that your work is worth some money, but at the same time, it's really hard to put a dollar amount on it. That's one of the hardest things for me to do. But I think people like us, we just can't help but crank out work. That's just what we do. And
we do work harder than anyone I know. You guys are both consummate workaholics, which I admire, and I already do. So I never had to sit there and go, look at that guy sitting on the couch, just making it easy. He works hard. My overall theory is people will pay for entertainment. That's like the big theory. So if they're not paying you, then
But why your entertainment over others?
Oh, why mine over others? Well, mine's that got that Barton Fink feeling. You can't get my stuff from you or from Mike.
It's true.
Or from, Whitney Houston. Well, she's dead. You can't get this brand from anyone but me. So it's kind of I've got a corner on the market is what I see. Now, it's not always profitable because sometimes my stuff is so far out there. There aren't enough people who want to monetize it. It doesn't mean I'm not going to have a blast doing it. This podcast enriches me even though I haven't made a dime from it. So it's not that everything is a dollar, has a dollar amount to it. But when you're going to go see Norm Macdonald, and that guy runs a huge room. I saw Jim Gaffigan, an arena, and this guy had them like putty in his hands. They were laughing. I'm going, these tickets were outrageously priced, and I feel like I got every dime because this guy, every second is like a bam, 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 bam. That's what you're paying for is he's making you feel something. He's making you laugh. Horror movies make you scared. Romantic comedies make you feel all young and in lovey or whatever. I just think I don't know exactly how to crack it, but I think that's the most basic metric of why should someone pay you to do what you do? And sometimes you can do great art, even like Mike plays guitar over there. No one's paying Mike to play guitar. It doesn't mean he shouldn't play guitar.
I have a tangential question for you because I've thought of this many times because Bridget and I have I think it's a Google Doc now of the things that we must do that are going to make us money. And there's so many ideas and things.
Yeah, like baby toupee. Like a baby toupee would make you money.
Right. Yes. No, but we have, I have here, I have an idea for a play that could tour around and could do this. But it's just slightly out of my wheelhouse. But here's the thing. Have you ever tried to really sell out, to make money where you go, this is such a sellout and I could do this, but I'll just say my experience. I've started to sell out and I just make myself laugh. Like I can't do it. I can't write absolute garbage that I really believe would sell. But I start to panic and I can't do it.
Is that why you left VeggieTales?
Have you ever?
Yeah, like VeggieTales, Mike?
Well, VeggieTales is like a different.
Is it?
That was such a huge animal that it was hard to see at what point anyone was selling out because it was just so. It's just so big.
You weren't selling out your Mike Nelson brand on that. I don't think.
I was just I was a tiny cog in a giant thing. Yeah. But no, I'm talking about a very personal where you just go, look, this could be good or it could be profitable and I'm just going to make it profitable. Have you ever had that option? And have you ever been able to successfully do it?
Not on a big ticket item, but definitely the death of 1,000 cuts. So on small compromises, like I might do that if I rely on a cuss word to pull off a gag. Or show cleavage on a woman to get people to like the drawing, or just not do the greatest idea that I know I love, and it's truer than what I'm writing, but I know my audience won't go for it. Like those are tiny sellouts every day, every time I sit at my table that happen, including when I do a YouTube video. You look up Google Trends to see what to title it and have an extra pithy title because people will click on things like this title of How to Make Money by Screwing Around is a clickbait title. If we titled the episode How to Make Money by Screwing Around, that would be a tiny sellout compromise. So let's say or if we said, Doug, Mike, and Ethan are breaking up forever, that would be a lie or a compromise that obviously we're doing it to get attention. That feels like a sellout to me because I like getting attention, but you like having some craft behind it. I see this all the time in comics. I swear every day, this is what hits me as I go, because I'll watch YouTube videos of people reviewing my work and they'll say like, where's the tits? and you just go,
on you? Oh, like
Well,
on
yeah.
a drawing. On a drawing.
Yeah, on the author, because I could easily get influence. And then you'll see some other.
I never get that question.
And then you'll see some other. It might be a Kickstarter or something that's just it's basically softcore pornography of like, whatever, and you'll see it just make a ton of money. There's no content there, but it's softcore pornography, and you just go, well, how bad do you need money? Or how bad? How much are you for sale? How much do you cost? That by the way, that guy's not going against his values. Those are his values. So he's not being dishonest in what he's doing. I'm saying I couldn't do that.
Yeah, well, I mean, we've talked about it before. I think the standard thing is, kitten on a turntable or whatever.
Yeah.
Absolutely crushes anything you or I have ever done. Maybe not you, not you guys, certainly me. But yeah, you'll see something that is the easiest, lowest thing, and you've devoted your, for me, it's 30 years of doing something where I, craft day by day. I try to get better. Yeah. I honestly do. And then you see something where you just go, well, my last thing got 2,000 views. He got 830 million views for that.
Yeah.
But you can't just switch and it's impossible, right? I mean, you could think about it. We have the intelligence to go, well, all I have to do is, again, kitten on a turntable and I win, but it doesn't work that way. I don't think.
Ethan and I have a mutual friend who is a director. I'm not going to name his name, but he's an animator there in Burbank, and he was working in preschool animation. Mm-hmm. And, they're just working hard, crafting preschool series for Netflix, and it's just like, just show the kids some basic colors and just have, really bad material, not something any animator dreams of. And then on top of that, an executive is just riding you the whole time. So this guy spent like the last 15 years learning animation, going to college, and just one of the best directors I've ever seen. And he turned on YouTube to see like, what preschool videos are like. And he saw a lady who pours Skittles into a cardboard box and sings, "Here's all the sweets. Here's all the sweets." It's a minute and a half, and she pours all the Skittles in there. It had like 60 million views.
Oh, I want to, please send me the link. Yeah, I want to see this.
And he goes, I quit. He quit his job because he just realized it was like a weak, bland form of that, where he was bending over backwards, doing his hardest work. And it nowhere near the amount of preschoolers would see his work as saw someone just pouring Skittles into a box.
Yeah.
It's the cat on the turntable thing.
You wonder, like, the person who's making all that money doing, like, something stupid on YouTube, and they're just cranking out 3 videos a day. Is that a happy life? Like, I would hate that life. I would hate that life.
It's attention. If you're in it for attention, then that's your payment.
I guess it depends on who you are and what you're like. I know that for me, if I set aside everything that I cared about and did that and made a bunch of money would be great. I feel like I'd wasted like a huge chunk of my life, but
yeah,
like there's probably celebrities like that. There's probably celebrities who they've never acted it or never written it. Maybe their dream was to write a script, or like I always think about that with people that are super famous. They're still always in other people's stuff. Like they're not generally creating their own content. So if
Rob Schneider,
yeah.
Oh, I think that's a huge thing for actors is they feel like they understand actors, they have their value, so I'm not undervaluing them, but they don't feel like they're valuable because it comes fairly easy for you. Yeah, sure, you went to acting school or whatever, but there are actors who never did any schooling at all who can, who are very talented.
Athletes.
I just think of, yes, I think of my example is Richard Burton. I used to love old drunken British actors. I would read all their biographies. He hated the fact that he had to act because he really thought that he was a really good writer, and he actually was, but he never attempted to publish anything. So he wrote these florid diaries where he was very, very, very articulate. He read like 5 books a day. He was incredibly intelligent. He was witty, and but he just thought about acting like it is nothing at all. I stand in front of the camera and utter these inanities and nobody cares and neither should they. It is a low art.
Written by fourth graders.
That's right. And someday I will do the actual thing which I am destined to do. So, and I sympathize with that. And I think most modern actors, especially American actors, go, yeah, come on, man. I'm standing in front of a green screen, like waving my gloves around and saying a couple lines like Shazam and stuff like. I mean, this is not a craft.
Yeah, I get real abstract about it too, and we're in pretty goofy genres. Where I look back on my career and it almost feels like, putting Skittles in a box. I get, I don't want to get down on myself or anything, but you go like, why am I telling this story? What does this story do? What is the big colossal life work? And if all it is animated series and video games and Happy Meals, I'm just like, I feel like a commodity, and that infuriates me because that's not why I got into the arts.
Well, what do you feel about, because I feel that way too, and I've had someone directly ask me sometime, like, why did you write this line? I didn't like this line, but I liked this line. And I always say, and I think we've brought this up before, because it was Tuesday and I was hungry and I had to write a line. And so I wrote that line. And then my next line is better because it was 10 minutes later and then I had my power bar or whatever. I don't eat power bars, but
squid.
You know what I'm saying?
Too many carbs. Yeah,
yes,
you ate your
I had a can
squid.
of squid and I felt better. And so I wrote that line, and because I had to get it done. So a lot of it is just, look, does the guy who makes custom made leather belts for people, and he makes 1,000 belts, and on a belt 1,001, he goes, what am I doing with my life? Like, well, you're still making belts. I mean, that's what you decided to do. And that's kind of what we decided to do. We're in this business. And so you do the best you can. What am I suddenly going to shift and I'm going to, become a sandwich artist? I mean, it's possible. Yeah. It's almost probable, but I'm still like, this is what we do. So that's why we do it.
He sits on his deathbed and he goes, I made the belts.
Yes. But I don't think that there's anything wrong with that if you're doing it with, especially that's a very Christian value to do it with
it is
with your whole heart and soul, and do it with, aplomb and, as they say, to the Lord, whatever that means for you. But
in fact, doing things well anonymously, I would think, was way more godly as far as his character and the things that he respected. The idea that you have to be famous and get the applause of the crowd and everyone knows your name, that seems very outside of his wheelhouse of like, oh yeah, go for the cultural attention, Christians.
Right. No, I agree. Yeah. I think doing things excellently and anonymously is good. And so, at my level of fame, which would be below, a very, very low level of fame.
Below Carrot Top, way below Carrot Top.
Oh, what, are you kidding me? That guy could murder me in Times Square and get away with it. There's no question about
Carrot Bottom.
Oh boy. oh, that's a thought. Oh my God.
It's red. It's red all the way down. Next topic. What didn't we see coming with what's wrong with the world? So think about today. What didn't you see coming that's truly jacked right now? What surprises you the most?
Trump becoming president? Who
Who
saw that coming?
I mean, yeah, that's a big one. That's a black swan. Most of the other things, does anything surprise you given your worldview?
Yeah,
I think
true.
there's not much that surprises me.
Yeah. Like I'm saying, I couldn't predict, say, social media, or I couldn't predict Twitter, like people screaming at each other on Twitter, including me. Thinking if someone described that to you 20 years ago, you'd go, what mad people would engage in that? Or like, Queer Eye for the Straight Guy or something. I mean, I'm just going, what do you mean they have trans strippers, reading to kids in schools? Just there's things about modernity that just are so weird. You know, you can't predict evil.
Right. But you always look at those from your own perspective. But if you sat there and if someone had said 25 years ago, let's say, and they'd read a list and they'd said, check, this will happen or this will not happen. You, with your worldview, would you have said, nah, that probably won't happen to any of those things?
No. Because
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So you couldn't predict them, but you also would not have said, there's no way that people will have these drag queens read to preschoolers in public libraries would be a major thing. And you would go, oh, sure. That's going to happen.
Given what we know of the human heart.
Yes.
We know that all bets are off on. So nothing would surprise me. And then you look back on history at man's inhumanity to man, and you go, it has no failure of imagination. It just goes. So who knows? Any predictions, Ethan, on 20 years from now, what we might be surprised?
Gosh, I don't know. I got nothing on predictions. I don't even think that way. Sorry.
What about like half human, half animals?
Well, I know like.
I'd say 100%. Yeah.
There's a good chance of that. Yeah, I know. I always think because I look at how video games have improved in my lifetime, from Pong to I've been playing Red Dead Redemption 2. My brother got me for Christmas, and it's just insane. The graphics are just insane on it, and what's that? It's from like 1985 to now. So that amount of time, that's like 30, 40 years, 35 years. So like another 30 years, 20, 30 years, like it's insane to me that like where virtual reality type stuff could go and AI and all that. I don't even know.
Do you predict we could fool the human mind to where you couldn't tell that you were in a game or if you were out of it?
I don't know. Only if you could make
Neil deGrasse Tyson says we already are in the simulation.
Oh, really?
So, he said there's a better chance than not that we are currently in a simulation. Yes.
Is that what he thinks? Is that like?
I would ask you two guys, what if we are going to be hybrid animal humans? You can only choose one animal, and then the rest of you has to be human. What would it be? You can't pick like a hydra or anything like that. You have to have only one other animal attached to your own body.
Existing animal attached? Attached how? Like, could I sew a cat's head on my head?
Yes, exactly. You can choose, but you can only have. So if you want to say, like, I want to be, for me, I would maybe choose kangaroo legs, so I could just kick everyone and then whack them with my tail. But then
and bounce
the rest
like
of
a
me would
spring
be,
for miles.
Yeah, then the rest of me would be normal. But you could choose, like, you could have your shoulder could be bare, and then your left leg could be bare, but it has to be half and half. What would it be?
I mean,
and please be very precise on the percentages. This is a very
I could go for
important
some
part of it.
condor wings. That would they would
There you
look
go.
cool. They're huge.
Yeah.
They might break my fall a little bit. I think I could jump a lot
would
higher.
they be? No, let's say that they were functional. You could land.
Oh, okay. I would. Condor wings would be pretty
Condor
cool.
wings,
Huge,
okay.
as big of a wing as I could find. I'd wear those on my back. It'd be terrible to sleep in, though. I don't
It'd
want
be
to get
terrible for Angie too that you'd have a cloaca instead of your existing system. You would have to.
Yeah, I'd have to grind everything in my
everything's out of the
gullet.
same hole. Yeah, that's tough.
Well, maybe I got to rethink this. I mean, a bombardier beetle would be cool because you could spit bile at someone's face and just burn their face.
Wait, what would
A bombardier beetle? You know, they explode
the
out
acid
their
that
backside or whatever.
they
Something
shoot out of their
snake spitting blind venom. You wouldn't have to carry around, mace or a gun or anything. You could just psst and just everyone's burning.
Yeah,
that'd be cool.
Be good.
So self-defense is a good move.
I want to just be like an elephant seal, but just has my eyes and brain left inside. I don't know why.
So
Wait,
you'd just be lying on a
there in
beach,
filth.
competing for space for
What
your
about those
youngins.
octopi that can like perfectly
Staring.
camouflage? Their skin just flutters and you could just stand up against the curtains, Mike, and
Yeah,
vanish.
those are cool. Mike?
That'd be cool. I think Mike's out.
Mike
Mike's
go?
skipping.
No, there's something with the Skype somebody's connection is not good. My Skype keeps cutting out.
It's you. You're the one cutting out, and Ethan and I see you going out, so it's your connection.
No, it's not me. I have very, very vast and fast and
Probably me.
active connection.
Mine always terrible.
It could be because Ethan's the hub.
Am I?
It is.
It is.
The lowest one brings down everyone. But yeah, octopus is good. You know, with the aren't they? Scientists have said they're aliens because they have the photoluminescence and everything, and then they have the intelligence in every one of their little arms. So
They look just like aliens. So I think that's
why you need to eat them. That's why I love eating them. Like the idea of, okay, aliens, come down. So you're very advanced. You know what we do? We cut you up and we steam you and put you in cans, and Mike Nelson eats you.
If aliens came down, would it be moral to eat them?
100%. Yes. They have no souls. No souls at all.
Mine tastes kind of gray. Ethan, would you go for an alien steak?
Yeah, I'll eat anything. We'll try it.
Alien. It would have to be labeled aliens in their own sauce.
Yeah.
Would be
In their
my
own
yeah.
ink. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
All of the
their own
SETI,
fluids.
all of the SETI people are listening in horror, going like, "We need to make first contact." They're like, "We have this big landing bay, taking over half of Arizona or whatever," and then, but they landed in our backyard, and we're sitting there with a fork and a knife, like a cartoon, going, "Welcome."
Yep,
Like,
we got
come
the
in peace.
giant napkin around our neck that we're tying up with a huge bow, and we're going,
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Welcome. Come on. Come inside. They're like, "It's a cookbook. Earth is a cookbook."
How to serve man, huh?
Yeah. How to Serve Alien is a cookbook. We have them sitting there with our How to Serve Alien cookbooks, and they get a hold of it, and they think it's some profound thing because they can't read English. And then,
It's a madhouse. Hang on, the grill's still warming up. Hang on, we got you.
yeah. Just sit right there, buddy. Here, put this butter on. This is one of our rituals. We put butter all over ourselves.
It's like the Men in Black, but it's like the Men in Flannel. We're just waiting for aliens to land so they can grill them up. Get them on the grill.
That'd be exciting. Well, people eat gator. They'll eat anything. It could easily be a delicacy. You could have an alien. The problem would be if they were sentient, which we know they won't be, but they built a ship or something. I don't know.
Is that a problem? I don't know.
No. I say all bets are off. We're given every animal of the land, and as soon as they come on our land, it's legal.
What's the theory on how
I got
octopuses got here? If they didn't have ships, did they because if they could get here, wouldn't they be able to leave?
It's probably one of those vague panspermia things.
Like
or
a
Neil
helicopter.
deGrasse Tyson. They came in from the reality world, and we're in the program world.
Like their egg-
and they just
oh, yeah.
scanned. They scanned one in.
That could be.
Right. Yeah.
Neil
Anything can happen there.
makes Bill Nye look smart. Ethan, what's our last topic?
We have a last topic.
Yeah, you had a question, remember,
did.
about yes, you did. You flew it up.
Oh yeah.
God.
I guess I don't know. You changed the whole. Well, it was Mike emailed us about this topic about feeling like you feel kind of alone in some of your beliefs sometimes, even in church. Like sometimes you feel. I don't know. Is that is that what you said?
Yeah. I think what I was saying was sometimes as your own beliefs in Christianity even are sometimes different, obviously very different from others, even around you. And it can feel very isolating even in that situation. You look around and you go, hey, we're all believers. And like, oh, that guy thinks 180 degrees from me, but he's saying the same creeds. And so there's a certain loneliness even within that. And how do you deal with that? So, Doug, I'm throwing it to you. Go. How do you? Because you're on the vanguard of that for sure.
Yeah,
you're a master of this. So tell us how you deal with that sort of loneliness of really I charged ahead of the troops and I look behind me and there's no troops there.
that's right. Keep your friends close because they're your core values. So your friends stand with you. So you're at least not alone. It's very rare that I would do something where even my friends absolutely disagreed with me, the people in my inner circle. So And I just think if you had a life prison sentence, if you were in isolation, I would not last long. It would be a horror. If I had one best friend in there, I could go the distance if we fought together. So that's how I see a lot of these storms that come for Christians is keep your friends close. And when you have a core also, when your foundation is secured on something besides, well, this is just what I think, or this is my fashion, or this is my preference. And I think we've all surrendered we're trying to anyways, daily surrender our preferences to what the Bible says or what we believe to be absolutely true. And where I'm wrong about it, I apologize. But where I'm right, I feel sorry for you because you might as well cut my head off because I'm not going to change my mind unless you can convince me otherwise. So I need to be convinced.
But what if there's not even the one friend? Have you ever
That would bring me great pause.
Yeah.
If I went to you guys and you guys said, Doug, you are way off. And my wife said it. And, if I kept running it up against people like, hey, should I go kill this actor? And they all said, Doug, you need to rethink that. I would seriously rethink it.
Which actor?
I remember. Which actor would that be?
Carrot Top.
Oh, let him live. Let him live. No, I read a thing. This is only related by the fact of the loneliness. I read an article once. Burt Reynolds back in, I think, the 80s. He was on we all know Burt Reynolds, right? Even know him, Ethan.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Hairy chest.
Yes. He, a famous actor of the 70s and 80s, whatever. He had a stunt accident happen where he got smashed in the jaw. And he couldn't eat for a long time. And so in the early 80s, I think it was, he got super skinny and they thought that he had AIDS. Maybe it was like the mid 80s or something. So all his friends deserted him. And I remember reading an article by him saying like, hey, thanks a lot, everyone. I've been making everyone in Hollywood millions and millions of dollars for years, and I can't get one person to return my phone call. I just thought, I'm no huge fan of Burt Reynolds, but that is pretty crappy.
Yeah. Find better friends, Burt.
Yeah, but that's Hollywood for you. Like, oh boy, he might slightly endanger my chance to make another couple $2 billion. So I'm abandoning him. And he said after that he had to reevaluate every friendship he ever had. And I just thought of that, like, wow, imagine if you're that alone and you have no faith. Like, there's nothing about it that it's just what I am is an actor.
Yeah.
So at least we have more than that, I hope.
Just this week, I had one of my covers canceled by the LGBTQ people. Put pressure on DC. They put pressure on a DC artist who actually did the guest cover for me, a very big name in comics. And he felt like there could be some danger with his career. And I said, let's pull the cover. We pulled the cover. And it was just a huge outrage on Twitter. Thank God you weren't there to see it, Mike, because it was terrible. But it wasn't terrible for me because everyone kept reaching out to me, my fans, and saying, "Are you okay? Hey, I'm praying for you. Hang in there, brother." And I appreciated all that sentiment and all that reinforcement. But I just kept saying back to them, I go, my foundation is secure. And this is a storm, and this is actually where my beliefs are being tested. Like, do you turn around and just concede and say, okay, guys, anybody marry anybody, and it's the same thing as my mom and dad? It's a temptation, but I think those storms are opportunities when you find out who your friends are. And I'm looking for friends who say, I'm your friend, even if I lost my job, I'm your friend. And I'd still be at peace if that's the cost for my values. And so I'm happy. I'm sitting there in the middle of this storm going, I might be the only happy guy here.
That's wow. I'm often feel like a real chicken in a lot of situations where there's always some sort of an excuse for this or that. And sometimes they're legit. That's where it gets really tough. Like, well, there are other people involved. How do I make them? But I also feel like, look, it's reached such a level of absurdity now. It's kind of like when networks started and they, there's 3 networks and, Jack Parr or whatever his name is says water closet on the air and they fire him. It was like, oh my God, it's the worst thing in the world. Yeah. And now we realize, look, there are lots of places for these people to scream and yell. And, it's probably not, the beam is maybe not going to land on me. So you can be a little braver or whatever, but that doesn't make it any better. I'm just saying that.
But
it
Ethan,
seems to
you
have
guys
dissipated.
we've all been kicked by that same place. But Ethan, Babylon Bee had like actual Snopes like threatening to go through Google to have them deplatformed. Did that make everyone circle the wagon and say, do we need to change our content to address this?
No, that's always been, ironically, every time Snopes or CNN or any of them come after us, it's been really good for us. We get our massive jump in subscribers. It's like free advertising.
I figured as much. I love that. Yeah.
It's almost as if it's kind of eye-opening for me. Like if you could get one of your enemies to like behind this in your DMs, like plan a fight, you could both build up your audiences if you get in a giant fight publicly.
It's true. The algorithm rewards that.
If us yesterday got into our DMs, we're like, hey, you threaten to deplatform us, we'll threaten you with a lawsuit, blah blah blah. Sweet, you do that, we'll do that, and we both get like a huge spike in followers.
The Pavlovian audience will click all over us all day. Yesterday, when my cover got pulled, I ended up having to redo the cover myself. Mm-hmm. So I said, I don't know if I'm up for this. I ended up doing one of the best works of art I've ever done. And my audience came.
Just kidding.
Yeah, it's a stick figure. It's a stick figure of Bill Cosby. The audience came back and responded and said, we're with you. We're going to fund your book. And Bigfoot Bill 2, we raised $5,700 just yesterday.
Oh, nice.
So here I thought and there were some refunds, but then your fan base kind of adjusts. And I go, wow, my fan base is full of people that are really into my work and stand with me. And the people that aren't, they left my fan base. And maybe I shouldn't be relying on them to pay my rent anyways.
Boy, I don't, I hope that in my dotage years, I don't have to go, I want to buy this heart medication because my heart is on 3% and this gets it up to 8%. But the guy who makes my heart medication, he once supported, Biden's bid for, and I slightly object to Joe Biden. So I'm not, go to hell, you son of, like, I can't summon the passion. You know what I'm saying?
He said Birds of Prey was a great movie. I don't know if I can take this.
He insulted Jaws or something, which I think is a good movie. He said it was paced poorly. I'm out. I'm going to die instead of, I just, that culture to me is insanity and I don't understand it. And I'll say it. I'm going to stand by it. It's anti-American. I actually believe that it's anti-American. America, we just don't, that's the thing we're running away from. Yeah. I hate that.
Yeah, I feel like those stories are clickbait too. I mean, I think there's definitely people that are in outrage culture, but I feel like it's overblown because stories like that, people reacting that way, get so much attention. They go so viral.
Do you guys think we're being trained to become more that way because we live in a culture now online where clickbait is fed to us? And so clickbait knows what we respond to the most, and then we in turn retrain our mind to become the kind of people who respond to online arguments, a constant kind of boiling outrage that we're being trained to do.
Yes, 100%. Those things are all in the era of, big data. Of course, every single click, every single item is fed into that machine and is poured back out and put through the algorithms of this one makes him unhappy. This one makes him a little bit happier at this time, which is perfect for the circadian rhythm when he's woken up. All of that stuff is crunched. And I find it depressing, which is why, as you all know, I'm off of that as much as I can. So.
You're wise, friend. Could it be that maybe there isn't an algorithm at Google doing this, but it's just an open source system that is accessing the human heart? Like the human heart is so ready for rage that when this machine popped up in front of all of our faces to provide an argument, we started arguing. It didn't invent it,
like natural selection,
and drive it. Yeah.
It's just like
it's our heart on display.
You couldn't have gone the
you
other
give us
way.
a tool to communicate and we start screaming at each other.
There is a flip side. I mean, there's a lot of people I really like on Twitter, and there's a cool community on there that I really enjoy. And that's the reason I go on. I don't go on for the outrage. But it's, there is some good going on.
I probably follow the wrong people.
Tiny bit. I mean, I have my philosophy I've decided with my Twitter account is that because I have such an even split of people, I really do have a lot on the right and the left on my Twitter. That I don't really get too political or anything on my Twitter. I compartmentalize it to podcasts and things I do. So if you want to hear my views, you can hear them. But I don't make it like my full, like you don't have to put up with it all the time if you're going to be around me. So I try to make it an option for people to like hear. But even on that, I'm torn. Sometimes I respect you, Doug, or I have an admiration or a desire to just be like, why can't I just say my opinion? And who knows? Maybe you're holding in 30% of your opiniens, and this is just this what comes out.
But it's mostly just being vomited out.
Do you think that like MSNBC and whatever Fox, I'll just throw those examples out, collude with each other to go, all right, so at 3:15, you throw this bit of red meat out to your people, and then they switch over here.
I don't think it's that orchestrated. I think the hatred is real. The division is real, but they could. Yeah, they could do a WWF with us all.
Yeah. I mean, that's why my only thing, once again, of trying to recreate something I could never do would be a Twitter feed that was equally throwing bits of food of red meat to both parties, somehow being able to collect the rage and the adoration of both. That would be a miracle, right?
Maybe I'll have to do that.
Yeah. See if you can come up with a persona who
I'll do two personas, Jim and Bill, and I'll pick issues that each one is and just respond to myself all day.
Right. And then you fight with Jim and Bill fight, but they do it on the timeline that will just equally throw out those little bits of food that'll make it so pleasing to everyone, no matter which side you're on.
And then I'll start getting both followers. I'll do the identical tweet on both, like, come with me, followers, help knock those guys, those sneeches with the stars on them down. And then I'll do the same thing. And it'll be good.
Just and then your final act is the straw man on both sides, and so then meet me in the middle, and then Jim and Paul or whatever agree, and then you do a site, and then Well, this is a plan, Mike. Let's do a little performance art here and get some of our buddies. We'll prime the pump with a good 6 people, put 3 on each side, connect to each other on Twitter, and go at it. That'd be okay. Wouldn't that be hilarious? It would.
It would. It'd be better than what I'm doing on Twitter now.
All right. Where are we in our show? Are we ending it up?
A good amount of time, and I got to get going here pretty soon because I got some aliens to draw for Henry Winkler.
And I got some aliens to eat.
Perfect.
So yeah, I can't believe Mike was on. Do we need to always do fanfare every time Mike's on?
He's dropped out again. Yeah. There you are.
No, you guys drop out. What do you mean me? You drop out.
We're talking to each other, and then suddenly you're silent. So somehow that's us. I don't know.
It's weird.
Here, I'll do it. I'll do it live on the air. I'm going to go to my. Let's see. I'll go to fast.com and I'll show you my screen. And then you guys do the same thing. Okay. All right. This is a competition.
Oh, this is going to be bad.
Look at that fat, sassy. Woo. I'm up to 100. Yeah.
230.
You got a fast one.
Yeah, I don't mess around. This is a dedicated computer. 230.
19
230. I'm going to end up.
18 megabytes.
18. It's Ethan's fault.
It's Ethan.
It's Ethan's fault. I'm at 100.
20, I'm at 20.
20?
Yeah, it's
You're
Ethan.
you're the one dropping us out.
Me.
You're Gilligan's
I'm the
Island.
guy. I don't even know how to get that fixed.
Where?
Dude, you could add a hamster to that and double it.
I gotta figure this out. Internet's been bad lately at this house.
All right. So at least I'm not to blame. Good. It was proven on the air.
All right.
This has been Audio Mullet.
Audio mullet, a mullet of audio smashing you in the face. Audio mullet, short and front, long and back, it's a fact, it's the audio mullet.
Audio Mullet.
Like
This
and
has
share
been
it.
Audio Mullet. Yeah. Here's the theme song. Hey, guys. Nice talking to you.
See you, brother.
Bye.
All right. So long.
See you, E.
See ya. Good night, Doug.
Okay, stop it.
Good night, Mike.
Good night. Good night, Joe Ellen. I'm right here behind you.